in times when turbulence and uncertainty are the only certainties in our lives, business continuity has become extremely challenging. The pandemic has reprioritized employee needs, compelling business leaders to change their entire frameworks and put their people first. Although these times are extremely disruptive, there lies a hidden opportunity for us to really rethink and redesign employee experience with time. To give us some more information on this today, we have with us Dr. Sanjay Singh, Global Chief Human Resource Officer at UPL. Sanjay began his career in civil services of India, where he served the Indian Railways for 10 years. His foray into the private sector took him to Dr. Reddy's, where he handled multiple global assignments in Russia and Europe. He then moved to Tata Motors as head of HR, where he handled the commercial vehicle division, including international operations. In his last assignment with Cropton Greaves, he was designated as Executive VP and Global Head Human Resources and was a member of the Executive Committee. Welcome, Sanjay.
Thank you. Thank you, Disha.
So, to start off now, today we are going to be talking all about the employee experience and how it's changing with time. So, to start off, I'd like to ask you that how do you think that organizations, when they have such a different workforce, like they are so multi-generational, they are from different backgrounds, they're so diverse, how do you think that organizations can plan a whole process map for them from hired to retiring that suits all their needs?
The most important thing here today is this, that, we had the COVID-19 crisis, and you saw that, human intelligence was trying to come to terms with it.
Mhm.
And what exactly happened in the particular process is that I would say it was like a mass global experimentation on how to continue to provide business, to provide food, to provide shelter, to provide all the necessities. And it really helped us come up with all the new ideas. I mean, you have companies which are the tech companies saying you can work forever from home, and you have companies saying that we want you to work from home, but because you're in the hospital or you are in the manufacturing, or you have to go and produce a grocery or open your grocery shop, you have to go there. So I would say currently what we are seeing is that depending upon the role that you have and depending upon the person you are, how do I really customize myself so that I get the best from you, and you as a person are able to optimize your own circumstances, which is, am I safe or not? Can I work out of home or not? Is it good for my family and for my children or not? And make the marriage work. And obviously there will be cases where people will have to still go out of the comfort zone, like a hospital worker or a grocery seller. But in most of the cases, I think the amazing thing about the current situation is that every person is being taken as an individual and is asked to maximize his personal needs with his professional needs to have a continuous income so that he can support the family. So I would say this has been the biggest learning, and this is what we are currently practicing in UPL, and we are just calling it flexibility is the name of the game, flexibility and individual customization.
I agree that as we're moving towards the unlock phase, customization has become very important for all of us. So, since we are talking about customization and how we were all compelled to, switch to work from home models overnight. So, in a way, technology was forced upon us initially when the pandemic hit us. But now that we have gotten more accustomed to it, how do you think that organizations can use something that they were compelled to do as like take this in their advantage and deliver a better employee experience?
In the current situation, we had a crisis. That crisis did not give us many options because essentially it led to a collective failure of human intelligence. We didn't know how to respond, and even after 8 to 9 months in the crisis, we don't have a clear line in sight. So I would say the worst thing that you can do to a crisis is not to learn from it. Purely in terms of what it really means for people who are HR heads or people practitioners like me, it tells us that that you cannot have one solution for everything. So every reality, needs a very different treatment. And in that particular reality, if you pass on the power not to the person who has the authority, but the person who is going to work and contribute, he or she is going to figure out what is the best way to make it work. So what we are looking now currently in UPL is actually what we are calling as the hybrid model, and also the model of flexibility. So hybrid model essentially means that for few days you come to the office, because we still believe that face-to-face interaction is very critical to building bonds, to building identity, to building corporate values, and stay connected. At the same time, you should have flexibility of trying to choose to decide yourself what really makes you most effective. Obviously, there are certain situations where people really need to be there. Like, for example, we have people interacting with farmers, we have people going to the fields or doing research. They still have to go to the workplace, but we make it in such a way that it is super safe for them. We have we have less people there. We have longer rosters there. We will have special stay arrangements for them. More sanitized facilities for them. So I think the learning is that take every individual as unique, let business run as normal, because we have a great commitment to every farmer in the world. We have to ensure that food supplies stay as regular as possible, because in the current pandemic, if something happens to the food, it really hurts everybody a lot. And therefore, we stay committed to our promise of ensuring continuous food supplies. At the same time, we make it work in such a way that employees and their personal lives and their need for having a regular income, and at the same time having regular safety and health, they get the best solution.
When you said that the worst thing that someone can do is not learn from a crisis. So that was, I agree with that. And to keep in tone with that, I'd like to ask you that, since we are all learning with time and we are trying to evolve as much as we can and adjust to the current situations. So, in your opinion, do you think there are any essential elements or essential takeaways that every organization should have or should introduce into their companies now that they are opening back to work, to deliver a better employee experience, to make it more relaxed and not as tense as it is?
2 3 points come very clearly. I think the first thing come very clearly is that don't push employees unnecessarily uh, into the morning and the evening pain of suburban traffic or the big city traffic. I don't think it's just worth it. We will have to be relaxed about it, and we will have to create a combination where we say, okay, you know what, we still believe that we need to meet each other face to face and we need to engage with the team, but I don't want to police this whole thing. So policing and subjecting people and saving time for them is one thing that companies really have to learn. And because when they had no choice, they really made it work and they stayed productive. I mean, I look at your media channels, and I mean, take an example closer home. Why go and talk about somebody who's sitting in a Google office in California? I think that is number one. Number two, I would say, is the way the jobs are organized, which is that you organize your task in such a way that if a task is prone to be done as productively as possible, while people staying in their zone with their families and taking care of them, so you reorganize it in such a way that you really stay productive and come up with new ideas. I think the third and the most important is that while you do all that, what you're disrupting is a regular routine. So when you disrupt a regular routine, then you really need to come up with programs around engagement, programs around mental health, programs around managing self, programs around equipping people, helping people to have the right workspace at home, so that it actually becomes a complete framework for becoming effective, rather than just saying, oh, you know what, you can work from home, but when you go to your home, you don't find it easy to work from home. And we always see examples of this. people not having clear work-life boundaries, people not having the right level of infrastructure to work from home. So, so I think the third reality, which is really going to become very different, is that when people are going to look for homes, whether on rental or they're going to buy, they're going to think of work as well, and they're going to have a small provision for them. I know it's very difficult in cities like Mumbai, which are pretty expensive, uh, but people are definitely going to look at there so that the work-life boundaries are managed smartly, and they are not as porous as they are today because our infrastructure was not designed for that.
Yeah, I think our viewers will have some amazing key takeaways from this because I agree with you. Like having physical interactions and having the relaxed atmosphere is still very important. So introducing programs of mental wellness and relaxation might really help organizations by keeping their employees encouraged and motivated at the same time. So that was it from my side today. Thank you so much. If you would like to add anything else.
No, thank you, Disha. I would just say that purely as a people practitioner, we read books, we interact, we talk, and we do a lot of work. But the COVID-19 put all that knowledge, completely in a corner because it created a situation where people did not have the choices, and they were forced to, make choices. Yet we see many sectors, let's say, the consumer goods sector, the food sector, the sector that we are there, we are actually producing more now as we were producing before the pandemic because we are essentially providing the food supplies. Governments are becoming flexible. So I would say that learn from the crisis, and learn from the crisis in such a way that you stay committed to your essential duty, which is to provide, let's say in my case, in case of UPL, provide food to the world. My second case is that protect employee jobs and protect their sources of livelihood. My third is that at the same time ensure that you don't expose them to something which is risky for them, and come up with alternate models and come up with new set of thinking to continue the businesses and to continue sustainability and make it win-win for all of us.
So thank you so much for your time today. It was lovely interacting with you.
Thank you, Disha. Thank you for having me on ETHR World.